What is organic food? Animals are raised in living conditions, accommodating their natural behaviors and habitats. So they have the ability to graze on pastures, for example. They cannot be confined or tethered in a way that prevents them from lying down, moving around, standing up, spreading their arm, extending their limbs. So they must have clean and dry bedding. And also they're not allowed to essentially be crowded to the point where they're competing for food.
Okay.
So, and what will be addressed a little bit here is there's ethical, I care about these animals. And then there's what is it doing to my food?
Right.
And that's where it's not as clear. And that's obviously on the ethical end where you'll have your own opinions. So as we go through these things, if some of them are minimized or whatever, it's just because I'm trying to draw the distinction, between what the science is and when you're making a decision on what you eat.
Got it.
They also must be fed organic feed and forage. Okay. And they're not administered antibiotics or hormones. The one thing that I was interested in is what happens when an animal gets sick. Typically, when the animal gets sick and he needs antibiotic treatment, it loses its organic status. Oh. So whether that's a dairy producing cow or whatever the case may be, it kind of gets moved to the conventional market, so to say. So what also can occur, I don't know the details of this, but it can also not be treated. So obviously if it's, there's risk reward of the, what type of disease is going on here. Do we really need to treat this? So it does encourage, even when animals are sick, a much more judicious approach with the use of antibiotics, because there's a literal cost issue if they've got conventional cells for less, and we see why. But how do they make that decision? And just to wrap up with the dairy aspect, so dairy animals must be fed and managed organically as if their meat's going to be consumed.
Oh, okay.
But it must be done for at least 1 year prior to the production of milk.
Okay. All right. So it theoretically not its entire life, but
yes, seems like makes sense. Again, just in a broad stroke, it seems like a reasonable requirement, for the milk to be labeled organic.